Hi there, this is Professor Eckhouse, and I'm going to talk about rectangles, triangles, and trapezoids, mostly focusing on the area and the perimeter of these different shapes. So first, in order to talk about perimeter, which is the distance around something, we have to look at linear units. Linear units are used to measure things that are in one dimension, like the height or width or length of something. And this measuring tape shows a couple different units that we will see. One of it is inches. And that's what we use in the United States. Not many other developed countries use the English system, but we do. And the other is metric system, and in this case, in this picture, those are centimeters. So something else we're going to be doing today is square units. So units that are squared measure things like covering a floor, painting a wall, buying a carpet, building a deck. It's the surface area of something. So it measures in 2 dimensions. Okay, so this is 2 dimensions, whereas linear units are in 1 dimension. So a square centimeter is a centimeter on one side and a centimeter on the other side. A square inch is an inch on one side and an inch on the other side. And I don't believe that these are to scale, depending on what you're watching on. All right, so those are so we would just call this right here in the center 1 inch squared, or 1 centimeter squared. All right, if each of these tiles is a foot on each side, how many square feet of tile do we have here? So if this one is 1 square foot, and this one is 1 square foot, and so on, every single one is 1 square foot, how many square feet do we have? Well, we have 6 square feet, right? So each one of them is a foot on each side, every single one a foot on each side, and so we have 6 square feet. Another way to think of it is this is 3 this way, and this is 3 feet this way, and this is 2 feet this way. If you take 2 feet times 3 feet, you get 6 feet. Now we've taken feet times feet, so we get 6 feet squared. That's how you deal with the units. All right, we're not going to talk about this today, but you do need to be aware of it to answer a couple questions. But cubic units are used to measure volume. And the volume doesn't have to be cubic, right? It can be any shape because liquid changes shape easily. So to fill a container, fill a gas tank, any amount of liquid that you measure can use a cubic unit, which again, we will talk more about later. All right, so choose the type of unit, linear, square, or cubic. So I'm just going to use L, S, and C to measure each of these things. So height of a flagpole would be linear. That's just the length of something. Pause the video and try to answer the rest of these. All right, so the size of a mural is just a painting on the wall. So it's an area. So that is going to be square units. The amount of air in a balloon, that is going to be volume, so that is cubic units. The size of a rug is going to be, again, an area, so that's going to be square units. Amount of water in a pool is a volume, so that's cubic units. Distance across a field is linear. Amount of lemonade in a jug, that's volume, so that's going to be cubic. Area of a soccer field, again, we have an area with 2 dimensions, so that is square. And the length of a couch, that's just linear. All right, so perimeter and area of a rectangle. So the perimeter is a measure of the distance around. So if you were an ant walking around this, how far would you walk? The area is a measure of the surface covered by the figure. So it's 2 dimensions. So if each square on the image is 1 inch per side, find the perimeter and the area. So the perimeter, you're just going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Many ways to think about this. Now you could double that, or you could just keep counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the perimeter is 16, and what is the unit? You've just walked a distance, which is inches. All right, so for area, a couple different ways to do this. I'm going to do the most basic, just for starters. This is 1 inch by 1 inch. So this is 1 inch squared. How many are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, or you could just keep counting to get to 15. But the area is 5 times 3, which is 15 inches. And what is the unit on it? Inches squared. Okay. So properties of rectangles, they have 4 sides and 4 right angles. The opposite sides are equal in length, and we use L and W generally to designate length and width. I use a little L, I use a cursive L like that, and a little W usually. So in this book, for some reason, they use a big L and a big W. So let's start with the perimeter. So what is the formula, do you think, for perimeter here? Well, we go up this, there's 1 W, and then across here that's 1 L, and then down there that's another W, and across there that's another L. So there's 2 W's and 2 L's. So the perimeter is 2W plus 2L. All right, so the area is measured by length times width. So area is the length of the rectangle times the width. Right, so we're going to practice this a few times, and you can pause the video and try each one as I bring them up on the screen. All right, so perimeter here is 2 times, now let's label our picture here. So it's 24 meters long, 24 meters, and 15 meters wide, so 15 meters here. So that's the width, and this is the length. All right, so we've got 2L plus 2W, doesn't matter what order you do it in. And I'm actually going to not use those parentheses, it's just less to write. 2L plus 2W. All right, so 2L is 2 times 24 plus 2W is 2 times 15. And I get 78. And what is the unit? It's length, so it's not squared, it's meters. All right, the area is length times width, so you should get 24 times 15, and that is going to give you 360. 360 what? Well, if you'd written this with units, you would have 24 meters times 15 meters. Meters times meters, right? Meters times meters is meters squared. So no matter how you do it, you should get meters squared. All right, here's another one to try. All right, so the length of this is 56 inches, and the width is 40 inches. So the perimeter is 2L plus 2W, which is 2 times 56 plus 2 times 40. And that is going to give me 192. What is the unit? It's length, so it's inches, not squared. All right, perimeter is going to be the distance, area is going to be the surface area, basically the area that it covers. So we get length times width, which is 56 inches. I'm going to use units this time, times 40 inches. And I'm using parentheses because it kind of makes a mess if you don't. So I get 56 times 40, which is 2240. And I have inches times inches, which is inches squared. 2,240 inches squared. Okay, so here's some that are just a little bit more challenging. This next one asks us the length of a rectangle is 6 centimeters more than twice its width. The perimeter we are given, and we're supposed to find the length and the width. All right, so labeling a picture on these is really, really helpful. So the length is 6 more, so that's 6 more, than twice, 2 times, that means 2 times, right? Twice its width means 2W, then 2W. All right, so W is just W. And the perimeter is 48, so P equals 48 centimeters. That's a distance around, of course. So P is 2L plus 2W, and that is 48. So 2L, well, L is this. So we're just going to put it in right there. So we're going to evaluate it, right? So 2 times 6 plus 2w. That's my L. Okay, that's what I put in from up on the picture. Plus 2w equals 48. Now we practiced doing this already, so now just distribute, combine like terms, and solve for w. So 2 times 6 is 12, plus 2 times 2w is 4w, plus 2 more w's is 48. So 12 plus 6w equals 48. Subtract 12 from both sides, and I get 6w equals 36. Divide by 6, and I get w equals 6. All right, so if w equals 6, then what does L equal? Well, L equals 6 plus 2 times w, which is 6. 6 plus 12 is 18. So w equals 18. So there's our two answers. We've got length and we've got width. All right, why don't you try this one? Very similar. All right, so the length of a rectangle, I'm going to do this right here. The length of a rectangle is 13 inches more than twice its width. So let's just talk ourselves through that one. Length is 13 more than twice its width. Remember, twice its width means 2w, then 2w. And this is just w. And the perimeter, let's write this down, perimeter is 200 inches. Okay, so no big deal, we can do this. We've got 2L plus 2W is P, right? And that is 200. So I'm going to drop the P, and I'm just going to think about the 2L plus 2W equals 200. All right, so I've got 13 plus 2W is my L, so I'm going to put it in right there. 2 times 13 plus 2W, and that's just this portion right here, the L. And then I have to add the 2w that I already had in it, plus 2w equals 200. All right, so 2 times 13, that's this one, is 26, plus 2 times 2w, 4w, plus the 2w that's right there is 200. All right, let's combine like terms. So we get 26 plus 6w equals 200. I'm going to subtract 26 from both sides. Minus 26 minus 26, and I get 6w equals 200 minus 26. I did wrong, so I'm going to grab my calculator. 200, I'm going just to do this with you. 200 minus 26 is 174. 170, see, and I wrote down 76 in my notes, and I tried to do it again. Divided by 6 is 29. So I've got, divide both sides by 6, and I get w equals 29. All right, so now if w is 29, what is L? All right, so we've got w right here equals 29. So L is 13 plus 2 times 29. All right, so 13 plus 2 times 29 is 71. So you can check this if you want. We've got w is 71 and width is 29. So if you want to check, then go ahead and check. 2 times 71 plus 2 times 29, does that equal 200? And yes, it does, if you check it in your calculator. All right, the area of a rectangular room is 240 square feet. And that's the area. So I'm going to write area on the inside. Area equals 240 square feet, like that. The length is 20. All right, so 20L equals 20 feet. What is the width? So width equals question mark. Well, we know that area equals length times width, and we're given that it equals 240. So length is 20. Width is unknown, and that equals 240. So if you just divide both sides by 20, you're going to get that w equals 12. 12 what? Well, it's just the length of a side, so it's feet. And I know that because I looked at my units here and here. Okay, So moving on, properties of triangles. So if we change the name of this, instead of length and width, if we called this rectangle, the bottom of it base, and the height of it height, then do you see that this triangle here is half of that? It's half. Okay, so the triangle is half of the rectangle, so the area of this is going to be 1/2. So the area here is base times height. This is 1/2 of that, 1/2 base times height, if this was B and this was H. All right, so that's where the formula comes from. Now, what if the shape is different? Strangely, it does not matter. So this one is obvious right here, 1/2 base times height, but this one is shaped differently. It's not a right triangle, but if you cut this off and move it around and play with it a little bit, you see it has the same area as a right triangle. And this one here, the height is way out here. It's not even inside the triangle, but that's how you measure the height. Of course, you could flip it around and call this the base and this the height, but it depends on what information you're given. Okay, so it doesn't matter the shape of the triangle. You can find a height whether it's inside or outside. All right, so triangle properties, we've talked about all of this, but I wanted you to have it all in one place. The first is that the sum of all the angles equals 180. The perimeter is just the sides added up, A plus B plus C, and the area is 1/2 BH. Oh, and by the way, the height has to be a line that's drawn at a right angle to the base. Okay, so find the area of a triangle with a base 15 and a height 12. Okay, not really super great at drawing these, but I'll just try. So the base is 15, and the height is 12. So the area is 1/2 base times height, which is 1/2 15 times 12. All you have to do is just put that in your calculator and you will get 90. Well, 90 what? So let's think about that. 1/2 15 centimeters times 12 centimeters. So centimeters times centimeters gives centimeters squared. Okay, so area, even though it's not shaped squarish or with right angles, it's still square centimeters or square inches or whatever. All right, example 9. The perimeter of a triangular garden is 75 meters. The lengths of two sides are 31 and 20. How long is the third side? All right, so if you want to picture it, just draw a simple triangle. And we've got 31 and we've got 20, and this is our x. We don't know what it is. But we do know that x plus 20 plus 31 is going to be the perimeter. And the perimeter is 75 meters. All right, so I'm just going to subtract 20 and 31 from both sides, and I get that P equals 24. Now this is also meters and meters, so it's just meters. Remember to stop and think about what are you measuring. You're measuring a distance, not an area. All right, the next one, find the height of a triangle with a base of 12 feet and an area of 60. All right, so we are given a triangle with a base of 12 feet. We don't know the height, so that's our H. We're going to make it at a right angle because that's what it's supposed to be. And the area, which is 1/2 base times height, is 60 square feet. All right, so the only thing missing is the height, and we can solve for that. So you can solve any way you want. You can solve the formula first, or you can plug in the numbers. Since I've already got it written down, I'm just going to plug in my numbers. So I've got 1/2, the base is 12, times the height that we don't know equals 60. Well, 1/2 of 12 is 6. So 6h equals 60. That means h, divide both sides by 6. H is 10. And what is the unit on the height? It's the height of the triangle, so it is feet. Okay, some special triangles. Isosceles and equilateral. So an isosceles triangle has two sides that are the same length, but the third is different. And an equilateral triangle has three sides that are all exactly the same. All right, so let's look at how we would find the perimeter, or how we would find the side given a perimeter. So in this case, we are given that the perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 63 centimeters. Find the length of every side. Well, all the sides are the same, right? Because that's this one right here. So all we would need to say is, well, 3 times s, s plus s plus s, so that's 3 s's, equals 63 centimeters. All right, so to solve, we would just divide both sides by 3, and we get that s equals 21 centimeters. Next, we have an isosceles triangle with a perimeter of 50 and a base of 10. So let's draw this one. So I'll try to make it obviously isosceles. So the base is 10, down here, 10 meters. And we have these sides that are the same, and the perimeter is 50. All right, so perimeter is going to be 10 plus s, and that equals 50 meters. And this is meters. That means these are both going to be meters, right? So I'm going to drop that for now. So I've got 10 plus 2s equals 50. S plus s is 2s. Subtract 10 from both sides, and I get 2s equals 40. Divide by 2, and I get s equals 20. All right, so I've got that this is 20, and this is 20. So 20 plus 10 is 50, and that is what it should be. So stop and think before you move on. Make sure you're checking your answers. All right, our last shape is trapezoids. A trapezoid is a four-sided figure, which is a quadrilateral. Two sides are parallel, and two sides are not. The parallel sides are called bases. There's two bases. One is smaller and one's larger. Now you're going to see in some other books there might be an A and a B. There might be a B1 and a B2. That's actually more common. But this book uses small b and big B, which I kind of like because small side is small b and big side is big B. So that's what we're going to use. All right, so the area using those letters is A equals 1/2 the height times the two sides added, the two bases, the ones that are parallel, added together. All right, so find the area of a trapezoid whose height is 8 inches and whose bases are 12 and 15. So since I'm not a great drawer, I'm just going to say height is 8 inches, little b is 12 inches, and big B is 15 inches. And you can draw that if you want, but we're supposed to find the area. So area is 1/2 height, little b plus big B. All right, so 1/2, the height is 8, little b is 12, big B is 15. So I get 4 times 27. So I did the 4s from these two added together, or multiplied together. 27 is the 12 and the 15. So I get 4 times 27 is 108. And what is the unit on this? Everything's in inches, and this is area, so it's inches squared. So the area is 108 square inches, or inches squared. Okay, last one. Find the area of a trapezoid whose height is 6 centimeters and whose bases are 8.2 and 9.6. So pause the video and give this one a try. All right, I'm going to lay out all my stuff. I've got the height is 6 centimeters. The little base is 8.2 centimeters, and the big base is 9.6 centimeters. And if we were going to draw it, I decided I just should, right? Those are parallel. Pretend they're parallel. And those are not. And the height is the 6. The little base is the 8.2, and the big base is the 9.6. All right, so area equals 1/2 h times little b plus big B. So 1/2, h is 6, little b is 8.2, and big B is 9.6. So I get 3 times 8.2 plus 9.6. You know, I didn't even work that out. So I've got 17.8. And you can just do that all in your calculator. You really don't need to do this in steps. You could just put this all in your calculator at once using parentheses. And you should get 53.4. And what is the unit? Well, everything over there is in centimeters given in the problem. So this is area. So it is centimeters squared, or square centimeters, however you want to say it. All right, that is my last example. Thank you for watching.